Loki Scarlet is my name, spreading my wings as I'm insane. Yep, I'm back. Got some new stills to use, decided to play around with shape keys with the Guy Fawkes mask as practice while I put together my facial mocap plan. Anyway, so the so-called repeal won. Many are outraged, but some rich people who are uneducated on the topic are cheering this on by title and fallacy alone. Yep, politics again. I was going to make a recording pointing out the SJW-like attitude of a YouTuber by the moniker Mizza T toward pretty much anyone who criticizes Nintendo. But between this and some things happening in my real life, I have bigger fish to fry than some preteen in his mother's basement. So, on to the topic at hand. Troy Leavitt, a designer of such great games as Hannah Montana, Meet the Robinsons, Disney Infinity, and, well, pretty much all the reasons I could find on this guy were the worst Disney games on the planet, so you get the picture. Is one such person who cheers on the FCC's latest order and decides to take time out of his schedule of video game politics to flaunt his ignorance of telecommunications politics. Or feign it, as I find it hard to believe anyone can be that stupid, even if they make the world's worst games. All roasting aside, time to get to the meat here. I'll link his rambling video in the description. He finally admits what Comcast had done to extort money from Netflix, though acts quite flippant toward the problem and omits plenty of important details in other cases. But that's not even the worst problem here. Troy Leavitt. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, fuck it. I know your vain ass is watching this. In your video, you are either the dumbest man on the planet or you intentionally created straw men to attack more easily. You conflated the lie of fast lanes with actual fast lanes. The fast lanes buzzword that the media caught on to isn't actual fast lanes. It's paid prioritization. This is implemented by throttling that which isn't prioritized and letting prioritized traffic go at the physical speed limit of the consumer's connection. That means, by default, the consumer does not get what the consumer pays for. Your analogy further on in the video makes no goddamn sense. As with net neutrality, network traffic can still pass each other up. Network traffic operates at the speed of the slowest segment of the route it takes. Then again, unlike me, chances are you aren't educated in hardware, operating systems, networks, cabling, or anything that is important in understanding how the internet works. I'll break it down for you. If mom and pop's online movie rentals only uploads at 5 megs, that's all I get from them, assuming I'm the only user. Meanwhile, Netflix has a rack space hosting agreement with insert ISP name here. With net neutrality, that means traffic from Netflix's cache server in my ISP's data center will provide me a movie at the speed of my connection unless traffic is somehow too heavy for my ISP to keep up, which, by the way, they call to notify me of the outage faster than I can notice on my end since I'm not a big movie watcher. Without net neutrality, they can block or throttle Netflix until the Netflix company pays for prioritization, or I pay to prioritize my Netflix traffic. Or I can always use a VPN, assuming they don't start blocking that too. Actual fast lanes would be this thing we call peering. Say if GitHub were peering with my ISP, they'd probably be more reliable to me than SourceForge. Not because SourceForge is being blocked, but because SourceForge doesn't have enough bandwidth left to handle it, while GitHub opened more bandwidth straight to my ISP, so I, as well as others using the same ISP, can still reach GitHub while it's under heavy traffic, as long as the ISP can keep up and the peer connection, which is usually lots of optical fiber, isn't saturated. Under net neutrality standards, there's nothing wrong with peering if foul play isn't used to coerce you into it. Comcast. And actual fast lanes are good for the internet, unlike making slow lanes and calling it fast lanes. Comcast, Time Warner, Verizon. What if I want to watch The Tick, but I can't access my Amazon membership because my ISP wants me to use their cable TV offering to watch superhero dramas? But I don't want to watch The Flash, Arrow, or Gifted. Okay, maybe I'd like to see Gifted. Marvel and their mutants, good shit. But not right now. I want to watch The Tick, which is only on Amazon. I'm already paying for it, but big cable says no. You know what that's called? Censorship. Something that FCC is known for on public airwaves, not the motherfucking internet. You know who else curates content and chooses what you get to see? Cable companies. They do it a lot more than the freaking FCC. You keep going back to the free market argument, but in case you haven't noticed yet, internet access in the United States is a monopoly almost everywhere. Either we break up monopolies and inject competition into the market, or we regulate the monopolies as if they were part of the government. We can't just twiddle our thumbs and do neither. And now what I hate the most, calling this a repeal. It's not. I haven't gotten through each and every page of this voluminous order yet, but what I'm gathering from this is they've basically said, yeah, go ahead and throttle and block all you want. Hell, redirect if you'd rather. And, hey states, you can't pass communication or trade laws now, says us. It's not like you are gonna win by challenging the constitutionality of this provision. We have partisan politics on our side. What a court's gonna do? Remind us that only an amendment can change the power states have? By overreaching their constitutional boundaries and limiting the Federal Trade Commission and the states, removing potential limits on what huge monopolies can do to fuck consumers up the ass, the FCC is bringing more corporatism to the United States. Specifically, this is reaching fascist levels of corporatism, taking over our republic. That's the problem with most major parties. They're authoritarian. And that seems to be a running theme with partisan systems. Political parties invariably gravitate toward authoritarianism, and partisan systems distill into a two-party system. The two parties have a common goal, which is authoritarianism, and thus begins the oligarchy. And to make it all worse, people who don't do their goddamn research, looking at you, Troy, enable it. Where was I? I think I cascaded into a fit of rage from the topic onto the general problem plaguing us. Oh well, back to where we were. Title II wasn't so bad that this could possibly be better. We have a market that isn't free, and we're being given the option of binding a repeal of Title II with gimping of everything that made Title I acceptable, or keeping Title II, which I'll admit is not the perfect solution, but having absolutely nothing to protect consumers, I'd say that is a lot worse, especially with the current economy and the political climate. And with that, I had a lot more to say, but I'm really, really losing my train of thought here. I probably need to go to bed, so I'm going to leave it at that.